Amazing, amazing. I love living in Japan. Like, for this reason, I love living in Japan. Minasan, konnichiwa, Squishy yokoso! In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 things I love about customer service in Japan. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get into it. Number 1, welcome. I feel like this is probably the most obvious one on this list, but whenever you visit Japan and you walk into any type of store, you're always going to hear "Irashaimase." And I've talked about this before on the channel, but basically the first time I ever came to Japan, I had no idea that this was a thing, so I was terrified. It's a really weird feeling to walk into a store and have somebody greet you like that. And obviously when I first visited Japan as a tourist, I didn't speak much Japanese, so I didn't even know what they were saying, which made me even more scared. But after a while I got used to it, and now I find it really weird and really obvious whenever I go into a store and I don't hear "Irashaimase," which is pretty rare, to be fair, but yeah, I definitely notice it when I don't hear it. And we don't really have anything like that in the UK. I guess if you go to a really small local shop and you know the shopkeeper very well, then they'll always greet you and just say good morning. But for the most part, you won't be greeted by anyone whenever you walk into any shop in the UK. Okay, number 2, manners. So I've had 3 experiences that I can vividly remember in Japan where staff were kind of extra polite, and I've never experienced these 3 things in the UK. So I'm just going to talk to you about those to give you an idea of my point. So the first thing that I can remember clearly is I was shopping in Japan, and it was a normal clothes store, so I don't think that it was particularly high-end or designer or a famous brand. And I went round and I picked what I wanted, paid for it, and the shop clerk put it in a bag and then walked me and the bag to the exit of the store. So I didn't carry the bag, she did. And then as I was leaving, she handed it to me and kind of wished me a good day, which I was like, oh my gosh, am I special? Because that type of treatment can make you feel pretty special. And like I said, it was a clothing store, so it wasn't like the item was particularly heavy or anything. So I remember that vividly and thinking, wow, Japanese people are so polite. The second example I have is actually when Taro and I went ring shopping. At this point, we hadn't even made a purchase yet, and the store clerk saw I already had a ring on my hand, and she offered to clean it for absolutely free, which, yeah, super nice of her. And the final example I have on this list is about Hub. You guys know how much I love Hub, but whenever you leave Hub, they always kind of say like, thank you for coming. But there was this one occasion recently when, as Taro and I were leaving, I guess everybody who was working there was busy with other things. As we left, I saw a guy run across the pub, open the door and kind of shout after us, "Thank you very much!" And Taro and I were like, okay, thanks. It was just crazy because that was the extent he went to just to say thank you for us being there, to literally just run across. I've never experienced anything like that in the UK before. I don't think that we're necessarily rude in the UK. I wouldn't say that at all, but I do definitely think that in Japan, the staff of these shops or restaurants, they do go that extra mile to be polite, which you notice immediately when you come to Japan. Number 3, you can always find someone to help. This is, yeah, pretty much a fact. Whenever I've gone shopping in Japan, I've never had to walk halfway around the store just to look for someone to help me with something. In the UK, it's not like that. I don't know why. But there have been many occasions in the UK where I've needed assistance and I literally cannot find anyone at all. And it's bad. It's really bad. Sometimes I've even had to walk to the cashier, line up, not to buy anything, but just to ask someone to help me, which is kind of crazy. I've never had that problem in Japan at all, ever. There's always enough staff in the store to ask for help, and they are always willing to help you. So yeah, that's great. Number 4, helpful staff. So like I said, you can find someone to help you pretty easily. And when you do, they are always super, super, super helpful. So let me give you a comparison. In the UK, if I am looking for an item in the store and it's not there, you kind of don't really get any help other than that. So I'm looking for something, it's not there, I ask a member of staff, and I'm usually met with the same reaction, which is, oh, well, if you can't see it, then it's out of stock. Have you tried looking online? If I found what I wanted online, I wouldn't be in the store in the first place. I think that's just how shopping works these days. Most people prefer to shop online, and if they can't find what they're looking for online, that's when they go into the store. So that's kind of annoying. The other thing that I find irritating is when you ask someone, oh, well, can you check in the stockroom to see if anything's there? You're then usually met with, oh no, I already know there's none in the stockroom. Which is fine, but I get that reaction a lot. And I mean, maybe they do know. Maybe they do know that there's nothing in the stockroom. But anyway, in Japan, you get a different response. So a couple of times I've been shopping and they don't have what I want. And I know that they do usually have it, but maybe it's out of stock. So I had one instance when I was trying to buy some shoes and they said, okay, we don't have it in stock, but we can place an order for you and get it delivered to your apartment. Amazing, amazing. The fact that they would do that for me instead of telling me to just go online at home and do it myself, it was amazing. The other instance I can think of happened more recently, and it didn't happen to me, but it happened to somebody else. So I was at a bookstore and there was a book that someone was looking for and they couldn't find. And so they asked for help, and the member of staff said really politely, I'm sorry, but this book currently isn't in stock, but I can have a look in the stockroom for you, and if it's not there, I can place an order for you and just let you know as soon as it arrives. How helpful is that? And the way she said it, so polite, and like she genuinely wanted to help and that she genuinely felt bad that the book wasn't there. Amazing, amazing. I love living in Japan. Like, for this reason, I love living in Japan. Finally, number 5. Queues go down quickly. I have been in queues in the UK that never seem to end. And I mean never. And I'm not talking about going to a shop where they have this limited edition product that everybody wants, like an iPhone, and you're waiting outside for ages. No, no. I'm talking about even just going to my local grocery store. Sometimes the queues are insane and they take forever to go down, and honestly, you're wasting your time. Like, it's crazy, particularly around Christmas. Oh my goodness. I've never had this problem in Japan in my life. Queues go down insanely quickly, to the point where if I was in the UK and I saw a really long queue, I wouldn't even bother queuing up. I would just put everything back and leave. But in Japan, if I see a long queue, I'm not put off, because I know that even though it's long, it's probably not going to take forever to stand in line. And sometimes as well, if they have enough staff, you'll see that they'll just open up another register. It's amazing. It really is. Japan really truly is one of the most efficient countries in the world. People say that a lot. It has a reputation for that, and for good reason. It's completely true. So yeah, I don't mind standing in a long line in Japan, because really, in terms of time, it's not going to be that long. Anyway, that's it for today's video, you guys. As usual, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you agree with this list? I'm sure you probably do, but I would love to know nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!